So first of all, hello everyone. I'm really happy to see you tonight. I know that the good season is approaching, so it's harder and harder to keep people a seat in front of a screen at this hour in the evening. Probably most of you would rather gone to grab a drink with their friends, but I really appreciate that you decided to stay with us instead to speak about civic AI and how artificial intelligence and digital technologies are already affecting democracy. I will now go in presentation mode, which means that I cannot see the chat unless for the moments when I will stop the presentation mode. So please, if you have anything to say, or either raise your hand or jump into the conversation, because otherwise it's going to be hard to provide a smooth session. So let's start. I will give the floor very soon to Marco, but I would first and foremost like to provide you a short overview of the agenda of today. As you probably know, this is the second Civic AI Plenary Assembly. The Civic Artificial Intelligence campaign has been running officially since 2024 with the petition to the European Parliament, but it has gained momentum since the third Eumans Congress held in Brussels in 2025. Since then, I've been coordinating the activities, and in the last year, there was plenty of things to do. The European Commission issued a lot of different initiatives on AI and in general in the digital world, and we had to monitor them while advocating for the deployment of AI to support democracy and more specifically civic participation and civic engagement in decision-making. Anyway, the campaign has widely evolved. Exactly 1 year ago, it was just a petition. The petition to the European Parliament was closed a few months ago, and since then we have been rethinking our political initiatives, our political proposals in order to fit the scope and also the ambitions of the campaign. Given that a lot of work was done and plenty of activists joined us during the last few months, some of them stayed, some of them left, some of them are jumping back again in the last few weeks. I thought that holding these plenary assemblies would be extremely beneficial, not only for us to have a regular meeting, a moment for meeting regularly and to update each other on what is going on, but also to improve the accountability of the coordinator, which is myself, and in general of Eumans, compared to our activities for the campaign. Of course, one of the main objectives of this assembly is not only to showcase what we're doing, but also to scout new people and new activists that might be interested in one specific activities, in supporting a working group or helping us monitoring a policy development or so on and so forth. Therefore, take this as both a presentation and a call to action to support our activities. As I said, let's have a look at the agenda before leaving the floor to Marco. The very first topic will be the most political one, probably. We had a very interesting session at the Congress of Eumans that was held in Paris at the beginning of February. There, we had the chance to host international experts that helped us delve deep into what is augmented democracy, what are the challenges of developing democratic apps. They showcased us some of the civic tech tools that are already used to perform participatory processes online. But what was clear from the Congress is that we need a clearer roadmap to implement whatever we mean with civic AI. For this reason, we decided to explain you what are our ideas for the coming months and to open a debate around 20-25 minutes to gather some feedback on the ideas and also ask you if you support a specific proposal more than others. The second part will be about outreach and engagement. Today, we already have a more international audience than in other contexts. So we finally are breaking we're breaking the window ceiling of the Italian constituency of Eumans. Eumans, as you know, was born in Italy, but has a pan-European scope. But anyway, there is much work to do, and especially on this topic, which is widely international, which is inherently international because because digital technologies are, in a way, breaking boundaries between countries and helping cross-border political activities. I think we need to do more, and I need your help to do so. And the other point is, how can we not only reach to international audiences, but engage them and engage their and involve their energies, their abilities, their skills into the campaign. Third, of course, one of the most important aspects of any political activity: how can we fund our activities? We will share with you what we have done so far, what are our proposals for the coming months. But of course, here again, any feedback, any idea is more than welcome. And then we can discuss on the next steps of the campaign. That said, I leave the floor to Marco, who will let you know a bit more what inspired the Civic AI proposal, Civic AI petition at the very beginning, and now the Civic AI campaign. And I will try to delve deeper afterwards into what are the specific initiatives that we would like to focus on in the next few months. So Marco, please take the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Francesco, and thank you for being here this evening. Well, maybe I will repeat for some of you some things, but I think it's important to going back to the fundamental reason why we activated this campaign. And of course, when you want to do something, it means that you are starting from a problem, what you consider a problem. And I mean, it's not difficult to see, even for if we consider the war which is going on, we know that artificial intelligence has already a massive use for war in Iran, but even the Venezuela attack. And there is a huge military, not just potential, but it's already used. And there are also consequences on international rule of law. We know that, for example, President Trump, in his will to sanction the International Criminal Court, erased all digital services to the ICC judges, in particular that condemned Netanyahu. So we are in a situation where it's already a reality, the fact that artificial intelligence is key in international politics. We know that China leverages AI to control citizens' behaviors, and the social media use AI to analyze people and to sell in a more effective way products, goods, and services to the people. We know that with LLMs and chatbots, there is a multiplication of the chances of subtle persuasion. So we already know that artificial intelligence is used for everything. So we raised the question, why not democracy? Why everything but democracy? There is a huge gap to fill. So this is our vision, to invest rules and money in order to use artificial intelligence for democracy by Europeans. Why Europeans? Because this is the level, the European level is a level at which, with which we can interact, is a more or less democratic area. So is a privilege, is a prioritarian in a way ground to make our proposal. So our proposal is that EU should empower citizens to shape policies in their own language, protect rights and enhance transparency, turn Europeans into prosumers, not just consumers of their digital future. The state of the art is that big tech and authoritarian regimes dominate AI, prioritizing surveillance, profit, and control. Civic tech tools exist, but are scattered and unknown. Citizens are users of opaque, foreign-owned AI, so not prosumers of European digital commons. And here we go to the proposal because, of course, this is a general, um, um, let's say, a general reading of the situation, angle, point of view of analysis of the situation. But the difference, I think, from what we are trying to do and the millions of initiatives that we know very well for an ethical AI, a more human AI, is full the world of this kind of the initiatives. But the difference here is not just a defensive stance, but a proactive, let's say, offensive, not offensive, but proactive stance to promote democratic AI, AI as a public good, as a public service, in particular, to empower democracy. And with this, I give back the floor to Francesco, because this general principle can have very concrete consequences on very specific and practical political initiatives. Francesco, you have
Thank
the
you very
floor, and
much,
someone
Marco.
should, I think, turn
Yes,
off the mic.
okay, thank you very much, Marco. So, as Marco was saying, if this is the situation, even though the campaign is called Civic AI, we thought that the best way to streamline access to civic participation online, also through AI, but not only, was to propose three key enablers to make what is already existing, so the blossoming of civic tech tools all over Europe, a real European-wide public sphere. With public sphere, we mean the sphere where people discuss about politics, they make decisions together, they exchange ideas, and where the political fight takes place. The first idea is a civic AI assistant. So as you can see here, we propose a multilingual AI chatbot that guides citizens through EU participatory processes. We see that there are plenty of civic tech tools that use AI in the backend to analyze data. But one of the things that AI can do best is exactly to analyze huge amounts of structured and unstructured data and propose it in an extremely accessible way in your own mother tongue. This is something that the European democracy has not done yet, and we believe this is going to be extremely powerful in reducing access barriers to participation. The second idea is what we call democracy data commons. We could also call it European space for democracy, and more in general, European spaces for democracy. And the idea is that while currently data of public participation not only is mainly stored into applications and by the specific services by the companies and organizations that deliver services, our idea is to create instead a public data layer for European democracy, so where all the data of civic participation online are stored, of course, in an anonymized, pseudonymized way, in a secure and accessible way for researchers, for instance. But at the same time, where we would like the European data spaces to be developed in a way where you can donate your data in order to enhance public services. There is something similar already in place at the European level. They're called high-value data sets. There are some data spaces that the European Commission is already developing. But what is missing is, how can I say, a complex, holistic approach to these European data spaces to include data altruism possibilities. And finally, the last idea is what we call the eIDAS for digital democracy. eIDAS is the protocol, is a framework that allows the development of digital identity tools and digital signature tools online. It did it in two ways. First of all, it provided a technical framework that ensured interoperability between different platforms and compliance with EU laws. But in the other way it did it was also because the massive application of digital identity tools would allow for a streamlined access to digital services in general. The idea here is to extend the best practices of what was done for digital identity to civic participation. So on the one hand, using the European digital wallet that is upcoming in 2027 as the first point of access to all digital participation tools. And on the second hand is also to develop a sort of framework to create the basis, the common ground, the best practices for all civic participation tools online. If this is what we already decided, in fact, the way to do so, it's still under discussion, and here is exactly where we would like your feedback. We have been thinking of a few political initiatives. I would like to remind all of you that Eumans is a pan-European movement by popular initiative, so we advocate for the strengthening of civic participatory and deliberative democracy tools. And therefore, we have a limited set of initiatives that we can propose. However, here you see 4 different proposals. One is probably the more realistic one, the most realistic one. It's an open letter to the European Parliament to question the Commission about the deployment of the European Digital Wallet. Therefore, to ask what is the state of the art? Are they getting delayed? What are they doing? And especially to ask that this development is considered a priority not only for businesses, as it is already the case, but also for digital democracy and participation platforms. The second idea is a petition to the European Parliament, which is something slightly different, but asking for an update of the Digital Services Act and the Digital Markets Act and the AI Act, that are the major pieces of legislation ruling the digital world at the European level, to the age of technologies of persuasion. As Marco was mentioning, AI is already used to persuade us to do things. They can be purchases, but in the worst cases, they can also be persuading us towards specific political behaviors. And therefore, if the public sphere, the digital public sphere, is already massively impacted by these technologies, we need definitely to update legislations that were produced a few years ago before AI was even introduced in this massive way in our daily lives. Other proposals, and this will get a bit more technical, but I think it's also important to provide you with this option, is to submit amendments and parliamentary questions to some of the upcoming European laws. One of these is, of course, the Digital Omnibus on AI and data. It is still under discussion in the European Parliament, but there are plenty of others, and I will share with you, I will show you a quick overview later on during the presentation. Finally, this is probably the most ambitious, and I wonder if we already have the capacity to do so. But what could be interesting is, since they are reflecting on how to streamline the use of data and AI in the European market, we could ask for a digital omnibus on democracy, so something that would streamline AI and data regulations, aligning them with the priorities of the Democracy Shield, which is the strategy of the European Union that asks for an improvement of for protection of democracy through technology, but also at this point against technology. That said, I know that it's a lot of information, but I think it's important. It was important for us to share with you what we are thinking, what we consider the Civic AI campaign to be so far, to ask you to provide you with some options. And now I would really like to hear your voice and your ideas about what we did so far. If there's anything that you see it's missing, if you think that something is more priority than other things. As I said, before giving the floor to all of you, let me share some housekeeping rules. First, please raise your hand to take the floor, or if you don't want to speak out loud, you can always drop a text in the chat, and try to keep your inputs to 1 or 2 minutes to ensure that everyone has the chance to speak. That said, I will go back to the Zoom so I can see you all, even though I think that you can still see my presentation. Cannot you? And that said, I would ask if any of you has anything to say about what was discussed so far.
Guys, I want to try.
Yes, please.
Okay.
not a long time ago, watching a Marco Cappato video, I had an idea. It was Marco idea. Why we should, let's say, be satisfied with a normal AI Civic? Why do not invest 1 billion? Everybody invest 1 billion. We also should have a Civic AI huge, well done with our values. So it looks crazy, I know, but recently one guy working for Meta went away to build another new AI. It's in French. So many companies give this guy 1 billion. So zero invoice, zero profit, 1 billion is ready, do whatever. This guy want to create another AI, but not LLM, something different. So if you are interested, I can tell you some details more. Indeed, is interesting. So let me waste 1 minute. This guy think that LLM, just reasoning, just one token after another token, will be the past. Why? Because, as you know, the training phase is done with billions of books, billions of tokens, of words, of text. In this case, this guy in France want to learn from the from reality. So let's imagine a baby. This little boy broken a glass of water, okay? So this is something LLM will never really understand. Just experience can give you. So this guy received investment from people like Siemens and Toyota because they think in the future will be very nice have more robot. Let's robot. Okay, just something more in China. As you know, they have a very smart robot. They are able to dance, but really, what is missing is the AI inside the robot. So according to this guy, into Chinese robot, what is missing is AI inside, because AI inside is just an LLM. According to this guy, is wrong. So he is developing something new. Okay, so this guy has an idea. We also have an idea. The Civic AI is a very powerful idea for everybody. So every European should say, I want. So dear European Commission, give somebody a lot of money to do that. Okay, I finish.
Okay, this connects very well with the discussion we'll have on how to fund our campaign. I guess it's a very good idea to ask for funding to develop a specific tool, even though so far we didn't work in this direction. We worked mostly in the advocacy direction, but I mean, I'm not against it. And for those who might be less used to these concepts, I guess that Gabriele was referring to an AI system that is not based on the analysis of text or of other data, but of the structured or unstructured data, but it's mostly based on real life data, I guess, gathered through Internet of Things systems or something like this. Anyway, I see that Sergio Barbarino has raised his hand, so if you would like to take the floor.
Yuba was first. She didn't raise the hand electronically, but she was.
Sorry, I didn't see your hand in the picture. Sorry.
Because I cannot find it because I mean with my phone. Can you hear me well, more or less?
Yes.
Is it fine? Okay. Yes. So I wanted to ask about. I mean, our campaign is not linked to an initiative founded by European Commission yet, right? I mean, we don't have funds, let's say. We
So
just have.
far, no. We applied for a few Horizon Europe projects, and we of course know EuroLLM, which is another AI tool developed with the European funds, but no, we don't.
Exactly, because there are two things that we can do is, as you explained, is there is developing a tool, like for example, the Civic AI Assistant, one of the enablers that we have identified, it can be developed by us, but for need we need funds. And the other way is the advocacy one. And for this, the amendments to the, for example, the omnibus in AI. I think this is the idea. I think we can concentrate in this, but really knowing exactly what we want to ask for. Now, what we have is that we have an AI Act, apart from the BSA and DNA, and the AI Act is going to be relaxed in terms of obligations for the companies that are designing the AI. So for me, the idea of having an omnibus AI for democracy, I think it's one of the main ideas that I will defend, because there is nothing about that from what I read, and here maybe Isaac can correct me because he read much more than me. But yes, for me, what is absent completely is the statement of defending the principles of our democracy, and we can go deeper in this. But yeah, like with a real norm inside of the omnibus AI, that the only objective is to relax the system.
So thank you very much. In fact, no, I quite agree. The only point where I would share a couple of my 2 cents is, I mean, the reason why there is a digital omnibus now is that the European Union has produced a lot of different laws, and now the digital omnibus is allegedly trying to provide some sense, some, to streamline what was created so far. However, for what concerns democracy, there are different laws. There is the Democracy Shield, there is the Civil Society Strategy, there are other initiatives. The point is that what is missing is exactly what would connect the dots. This is why the proposal of the Digital Omnibus for Democracy was there. But just to let you know, something is there, but it's scattered. Sergio and then Cesare.
So I wanted to react to what Gabriele said on developing a different AI model beyond the LLM. I was reading an article recently that if you ask the artificial intelligence of LinkedIn to recommend you profiles for a CEO position, it's very difficult that it would recommend you a Black woman, because the LLM learns from the existing bias, and looking at who is CEO for companies, it will recommend you very similar profiles. It's not making a mistake, but of course it's reproducing the bias. So one of the possible objectives is to have an AI that compensates for historical bias and tries to move forward. And actually, the same problem exists for scientific data, because if you want to avoid existing scientist bias, you prefer to have machine learning applied to the data directly and not use a large language model that is biased by the opinion of the people that have already written on the matter. So it's a fine point. Now, on the 1 billion euro, there are no calls for 1 billion euros. Now, the EU is catching up on funding for AI, but mainly for industrial application. So if we wanted a ethical artificial intelligence, and you see that the problem raises very quickly, like Anthropic had this big problem 2 weeks ago, and now they have been named a supply chain risk because they refuse to have AI teleguided missiles on schools full of girls, or frisking private people data. I think we need to lobby upfront politically for it to become a priority, and then eventually, you get into the funding. Right now, the type of funding we are looking for are several order of magnitude lower than the billion Gabriele mentioned, that probably you need if you want to do something this ambitious.
Thank you very much, Sergio. That is true that to develop this kind of tools, in fact, you need way less money. However, into the Democracy Shield proposes, I think that it will set 8 billion euros in the Agora EU fund within the new multi-annual financial framework. So there will be over 7 years, the European Commission will invest 8 billion funds, but we know how this works. It will be invested through Horizon Europe projects. Therefore, it will be this spread among consortia. It will mostly go in human capital, and probably you won't have a tool eventually, as it was already the case for other Horizon Europe projects in the last few years. Cesare, please. Cesare? Cesare, what happened? Okay, I think that he unraised his hand, but Cesare, did you want to speak? Cesare Grasso. We can't hear you. I mean, at least I can't hear you. I would suggest you get out and get in again, probably. Okay, amazing. No worries. So, if anyone else would like to take the floor, because before I leave the floor to Cesare, and then after this couple of interventions, yes, Marco, was it a hand raised?
Yes, I wanted to underline that there are two levels. One is just of rules and procedures, and the other level is investments and systems. Of course, at the end, we need systems because if we talk just about rules, but the proposals that Francesco presented to you, the initiatives, for example, the first initiative is a very, very small, let's say, the technical issue is very small and easy. We don't need huge investment to do the European digital wallet. We just need that there is a common European system of identification. And once you have that, you can use it for everything. It could be used for all the participatory tools that already exist at the national level, at the local level, and even at the European level, of course. In Italy, for example, we have a platform where with the digital authentication, you can sign for national referendums and ballot initiatives. So if there would be this European digital wallet that is planned, announced by the Commission, but is still delayed, it would be a huge step with a very small amount of investment, a huge step to open the possibility, the very possibility for a European platform of democracy. Of course, there is now the technology to build from scratch something new, and this would be a huge project. And of course, Eumans is not a candidate to realize the platform, to write the code. Well, the code now is written by artificial intelligence, but we are not proposing ourselves as a artificial intelligence provider. We want to be an enabler and a political enabler to those reforms that could make possible the democratic interaction empowered by artificial intelligence at European level. So this is why I think that we need the big picture. We need to ask huge investment, and at the same time, we have to fight to apparently small reforms and political rules, and as the one linked to the European digital wallet, to open the way for European digital democracy. I think that these two levels of actions are very important, both.
Thank you very much, Marco. I would just like to query whether Cesare has solved his audio issues. I still can't hear you, unfortunately, Cesare. I don't know why. I guess probably with the audio. But anyway, you can always drop a text in the chat. And in fact, I wanted to read a couple of texts in the chat. The first one from Francesco. Francesco proposes basically to train open source LLMs. He mentions Meta's Llama. But there is, of course, also the Euro LLM. AI tool, train these tools with information on how to get civic participation all over Europe, and especially on EU-related topics. And this is, in fact, a very interesting proposal. We're already considering creating either a small prototype or a RAG to be fed with all the digital policies of the EU, and also the methods for civic participation, at least for internal use of Eumans. But that could be a very interesting project to be funded too. And the second thing, I see that Stefan has raised his hand, and after Stefan, I would close the debate and move on to the next few things, because we have plenty of things to say still.
Okay, thank you. Just a very quick question regarding the initiatives 2026. Have we concrete chances to launch this ECI on digital democracy? I mean, are there in place contacts with the other associations in order to launch this ECI?
Very good question. My answer would be no, meaning no, we don't have the capacity now. We are, of course, in contact with plenty of people working in the field, not only experts, but representatives of civic tech solutions. At the Congress, for example, there were representatives from Open Source Politics, that was the organization developing the platform for the Conference on the Future of Europe. In the webinar next week that you will speak about later on, is involved Sylvain Lebon, who works in the development of data spaces. In the last few months, I had the chance to meet people from the CDIM. I mean, we have contacts, but in my point of view, that could be something interesting to do in 2027, while we can use 2026 to consolidate other things and to pursue other initiatives in order to create that network that is needed to run an ECI. So far, in my point of view, it's less realistic, but I still want to share the idea with you, so to all of you, so we could get some feedback from you too. Okay, that said, I would then close the floor for the debate. Thank you very much. It was super lively and a lot of good ideas. I took note of all of them, and we will try to implement them in our activities. Oh, wait. In the meantime, Cesare said, considering the data common activity, ever thought about rewarding the participants with money? It's not a new idea, but could work if the data are particularly precious. It could extend the participation mostly when you want to migrate to democratic applications and tools, starting from subventions to go later to purchase of data from private companies while regulated from authorities. Yes, in fact, this is not a new idea. We are also in contact with the Mario something, I don't recall his name now, who created a project to a sort of platform that stored all the research projects that were asking for data donations to people for research purposes. And there you can also filter, for example, opportunities where you donate your data for free, or when you're paid 5 euros or 10 euros or something more. Of course, this could be a possibility. The problem is that I see it less likely that public sector could pay back people just because people give them money. This is up to specific projects to have this framework. So it's going to be way harder to ask to all public sector institutions to donate data, to pay back people because they donate data to public sector data spaces or something like this. But anyway, this is a good idea that has been used in a lot of research projects, and it is of course a great incentive to donate your data to get some services. Okay, that said, as I said, I will go back to the presentation. Thanks again for the debate. In fact, the second part of the plenary assembly will be mostly dedicated to the running activities. We will go a bit deeper into what is going on in an operational way. We have some working groups active so far, but first and foremost, let me share the screen again. I hope you can all see it. And yeah, as I said earlier, beyond the regulations that we already monitored, we mentioned already the Digital Omnibus. In fact, the Digital Networks Act was already confirmed by the European Parliament. The civil society platform and the Democracy Shield have already been approved by all institutions. We are just waiting for their implementation, but in general, at least with the Brussels office of Eumans, we will monitor all these policies. because they all affect some aspects of our campaign. Of course, anyone who would be interested in doing some policy analysis or understanding what is going on with these policies, if there is any room for Eumans activities or for proposals on behalf of Eumans within the Civic campaign, is more than welcome to support our work on this. So far, we have been dealing with this mostly with the Brussels office of the movement, but discussion about policies is, of course, open to any citizen, any Eumans member. That said, as I said at the beginning, one of our main issues so far is that while we have some ground, we have a basis of activists that is always changing, it is growing, it is consolidating, but still it's quite small for our ambitions. Our first, one of the most important strategic areas of action in the next few months will be outreach and engagement. The campaign is widely appreciated within Eumans. It raises some interest also outside, but we need to improve our community, not only in terms of numbers, but first and foremost in terms of interaction quality. Currently, we still have a WhatsApp community. I created it a few months ago as a transitory phase. We need to move all to Discord, and this will require some work and some effort. We also have the mailing list of those who supported first the petition and now the campaign, and I interact with that. But we need to find a better integrated way of involving people in our working groups and in our activities. And of course, internationalize our base. To do so, we need your help. I see that most of you are Italians or Italian speaking. There are a few non-Italians in the call. I would not assume that all Italians here are in Italy. Something that could be extremely helpful for us would also be to penetrate in local communities all over Europe, even though through Italian-speaking people. Anyway, first thing I can say about how we aim at reaching international audiences, compared to the first few months of the campaign, where we held probably just one or two in-person events. I will be involved, I and other people in the campaign will be involved in a few in-person events in the coming months. Our participation in in-person events and in general the activities of the campaign will be widely supported by Eumans communication efforts. In the next few months, at least in the next 3 months or probably longer, the Civic campaign will occupy a huge share of social media content on our social media profiles, especially for what concerns the English channels. And we will participate and be present in several in-person events, mostly outside of Italy. There are here some of the people that will attend some of those events. Before leaving the floor to them, I would like to say that apologies for the typo, my bad. But on the 26th and the 27th of May, EuroDig, European Dialogue and Internet Governance, will take place in Brussels. I've been involved in this conference, which is basically the Internet Governance Forum for Europe, so a place where all stakeholders gather to discuss about policies affecting life on the internet. I've been asked to be the co-focal point, therefore to organize the session for main topic 4, platforms engagement to strengthen digital public sphere, which is of course extremely connected to our activities of the Civic campaign. This means that I will have the chance to influence the choice of speakers, to decide a bit the agenda, what will be discussed, decide even the title together with other people. This is going to be extremely important because it is an event rooted in the Brussels bubble. There will be plenty of politicians attending, as well as representatives from the European Commission. This is, of course, strategic. I will try to make the best out of it, but I need your support. And you can support you can support me in this in 2 ways. Either you, I will ask you to help me in drafting some proposals for the concept note of the event and of the main session. Of course, I would like to welcome all of your ideas for this specific session. We have to confirm speakers and everything by the 30th of April. So we have 1 month and a half to do so. But the second way you can help me, in fact, is even in a more indirect way. So please go on the EuroDig website, check the consolidated program on the wiki. Everyone can participate in the organizing teams of other main topics. So if you find any topic, any session that is particularly interesting to you, even though you cannot attend the event in Brussels, you can participate in the mailing list where where the program is decided, and especially where the topics are decided. Therefore, if you want to let a human's voice heard, or just your voice as citizens heard, represented, please go on the website, participate, and try to influence also the other topics, not only mine. And of course, you're all welcome to subscribe to the mailing list for main topic 4 and to provide your ideas and feedback there as well. That said, I leave the floor to first and foremost Alessandro Padovan, whom I saw join the call, because tomorrow he will speak on behalf of Eumans and on behalf of the Civic campaign in a very interesting event in Geneva. And please, Alessandro, would you like to explain briefly what this event is about?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Francesco. Thank you for giving the floor. And sorry for joining late. Unfortunately, I had another meeting. But yes, tomorrow, since I'm based in Geneva, I will represent Eumans at the conference, at a very important conference, part of the humanitarian, as you can see, humanitarian networks and partnership weeks, where Eumans was asked to, the presence of Eumans was asked specifically to address to share the best practices from a European civic space, and to talk about this digital democracy movement. And I'll have a 7-minute presentation with questions following, and I will touch upon our main campaigns, from the Democracy Data Common to the Civic AI Assistant, as well as Marco was previously mentioning the digital passepartout, let's say, among different platforms. And yeah, I'll try to make out of the best out of it. And yeah, very much looking forward to tomorrow.
Great, thank you, Alessandro. Please do some scouting, engage someone to support our activities. I'm sure that will be the perfect audience. Probably you didn't stress it enough, but it's a youth event. So probably the audience will be mostly composed of students, university students, or at least young professionals. And in general, this is a very reactive audience to our proposals. So I'm super happy that you're there representing us, and good luck with that.
Yes, if I can just jump
sure,
real quick,
please.
The audience is also young people, luckily, as they are super important in this dialogue, of course. But since it's being part of a broader week of meetings and conferences, there's going to be also representatives of states, UN staffs, especially from OCHA and other civil society organizations. We are going to have a youth panel of 30 minutes, and that's going to be the youth-led session. The rest of the conference is going to be youth-focused, but not youth-led. So it's going to be quite an interesting wide array of people, let's say.
Perfect. The more the merrier. Thank you very much, Alessandro. Now I'm more than happy to leave the floor to Liuba, who will in fact represent Eumans at the next event taking place at the very end of April. So Liuba, please take the floor.
Yes. Very quickly, because I don't have much input, but I have the agenda of the event. It's an event that will take place in Badajoz. So it's it's a very local event, but the idea of this is organized by a foundation of research studies in politics, and the idea is to through 2 days to gather to go across all the pillars of the democracy, let's say, and trying to see how we can regenerate, reform the democracy a little bit. It's quite similar to what we have done in our assembly. In a very local level, let's say, and I was invited to talk about AI and democracy. So I will take advantage of this for integrating let's say my speech that will be 15 minutes with a panel, with 2 other people, yes, and after we will have a couple of questions, to explain what is human, explain our campaign, and trying to after my 10-minute speech a little bit do some advocacy of what can we do also in a European level in a very brief. You have questions, just let me know.
Yes, no. Thank you very much. Sorry, I just was struggling to find the toolbar to unmute myself, just because we're advocating for Civic AI, and then I cannot even use Zoom. But thank you very much. The last entries you see at the end of May, beginning of June. Brando Benifei has decided to organize with us an event at the European Parliament. Just to give you some context, tomorrow at 9:30, I will share the links later in the chat. The STOA, which is the research center of the European Parliament, will present the study, the use of digital tools and AI to promote citizen participation in EU policymaking. This study was commissioned by Brando Benifei to STOA almost 1 year ago now, and it was inspired by our campaign. Therefore, the study maps 95 different civic tools and performs an in-depth analysis of 11 that have some AI tool either backend or in the interactions with the citizen, with the user. And the idea is, after this official presentation, to hold a very high-level institutional event in the Parliament. Brando's office has been quite open to our proposals. We will have a lot of influence in shaping the agenda of the event. Their idea would be even to invite Hanna Virkunen and McGrath, that are the two commissioners working on digital democracy. And I would like to invite not only of course, some of the authors of the study, but some representatives of at least the civil society organizations and or civic tech tools to speak. But within the audience, I would like to have someone who's an expert and can question and can actively participate in the Q&A. Anyway, again, I will update you as soon as possible with a specific date and a specific hour of the event, and whoever is in Brussels is more than welcome to join us. What I was forgetting before leaving the floor to Stefano is that we also are in contact with European Alternatives, that is running a project called Democratic Digital Commons. This project is composed of 5 or 6 citizens' assemblies, 4 of them in person and 2 of them online, on AI. Again, as you can see, this project is extremely aligned with what we're doing so far, and they already want to engage with us, at least for the 2 online events, but most likely even for some in-person events that will be scattered across Romania, Czechia, Spain, if I remember correctly, but maybe I'm wrong, and I guess also Paris. That said, of course, anyone who would like to help, either with the events that you see here in the slide, or who would like to organize in-person events somewhere else. Here I just put Paris, Madrid, Berlin, but of course any other city is more than welcome. Please just reach out either to me or to Stefano Corona, who will speak right after me, because we are always keen on supporting and sharing supporting and letting people organize events even independently from what we can do ourselves. I see that Isaac has raised his hand. Maybe it's better to... Yes, please.
No, just a quick question. This project that you're saying is what? Because I'm participating in a project that is exactly the same cities. Oh, I work on a think tank. So
the Democratic Digital Commons, probably it's exactly that. One of the cities is in Romania. It's not a very famous city. It's probably a peripheral one.
I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's see. Well, and I get the floor. I work on a think tank, and we have some projects on digitalization. We have to build working groups and so on. So I'm happily inviting you or inviting someone as Eumans and putting your or our stamp there. So also we can talk about that.
Thank you very much. That's extremely appreciated. And again, I mean, of course, if I can participate, I will be more than happy. But if anyone else is closer to you or can participate on behalf of Eumans, more than happy to share the invite with them too. So thank you very much. Okay, so beyond the in-person events that, of course, are extremely important, but they have some limits. For example, limitations. For example, they can only be attended by people on site. We are also organizing a series of webinars to reach out to more international audiences and possibly to audiences all over Europe, and not only where we can physically be. But for this, I'm more than happy to leave the floor to Stefano, who has been actively involved in organizing the webinars and is managing the project. Please, Stefano.
Thank you, Francesco. Hi, everybody. Okay, as you said, this
this series of webinars we are organizing within our Civic AA community are very important and in my opinion are a cornerstone, let's say, for the Eumans Civic AI campaigns this year. With these webinars, there are, it is a series of 6 open webinars from March. The next one is the first one is the next week, from March to October. And with these webinars, our ambition is, let's say, to begin a journey not only to reach out international audience, that is an important object, but also to make AI more understandable and accessible for a large public. So the ambition is to give the citizens the knowledge and tools they need to understand how AI is important in their lives and how it can be used to strengthening the democracy. When we talk about democracy, we mean civic participation, transparency, and all forms of democratic innovation. In this perspective, each webinar should offer the citizens a non-technical approach, even though we invited leading experts and researchers and representatives of tech industries. Coming to the timeline and contents, as said, the first one will be held on March 17th, and the topic is Democracy Data Commons, and the title is Who Owns Our Data? We will see in the next slide specifically the more details on that. In April, we will have a webinar on digital identity and e-voting. And by the way, each one, as you see, each webinar wants to respond to a specific question. Okay, this is the format we have assumed. And it is important because it stimulates even the debate. We want to stimulate the debate among the attendees of these webinars. So, digital identity and e-voting. Then we have the Civic AI and the role of the Civic tech company. The digital divide in June, after the summer months, we will held the next webinar about the role of funding in participatory democracy. That's always more and more important to fund all initiatives about democracy. And it is important in this perspective also the role of the foundations. Maybe it will be focused this role of these institutions. The last one will be the topic of the last one will be the visualizing Civic AI. It is also a project set up in our community, and that responds to the question on how data, algorithms, and civic processes can be made visible and understandable through clear and accessible visual tools. So next slide, we see the structure of the first webinar, Who Owns Our Data? And the subtitle is The Role of Civic Data in Rebuilding Democracy and Challenge Big Tech Dominance. So it is important because we will try to understand how the values of civic data can help rebalance the power in digital ecosystem dominated by the big tech, the large platforms. So the structure of the panel, and it will be the same structure for all the webinars. We will have a moderator, our Leonardo Santamaria, and as main speakers, we will have Anna Colom and Marta Poublé of the Data Tank. That is a startup specialized in implementation of data sets and their responsible reuse. As a discussant, we'll have Sylvain Lebon of Starting Blocks. That is a startup that created the data spaces that are so important in our view. The event will start with the icebreaker. That is a short icebreaker where the attendees will be asked with a few quick questions about their feelings regarding the use, protections, and possible donation of their personal data to different actors, from the big tech to national governments to European Union. And so it's a way to survey even the understanding of the importance of AI in this context among our attendees. After the icebreaker, we will have the introduction and then the speaker's presentation, and at the end we will have a large space of debate among the attendees. So, as said, all the webinars of the 6 webinars will have essentially the same structure, the same format, and will be held at the same time of the day when people have finished work like this assembly. I've done. Thank you very much, and I'll...
Thank you very much, Stefano. Again, I was struggling to find my microphone again. As you see, I shared the link to register to the webinar in the chat. From today, we also have a LinkedIn event. So if you want to share the LinkedIn event about this webinar with your contacts on LinkedIn, that would be extremely appreciated. In the next few days, you will see the promotion also on our Civic AI community, both on WhatsApp and Discord, and clearly also through our social network. What I would like to state is that thank you, Alessandro had to leave, but as Alessandro proposed himself to support with the Digital Divide session, feel free to declare your interest in supporting any of the sessions outlined so far, especially the 3 last sessions are a bit, we can change the order. That is the order we thought of now, but we can slightly arrange the order according to the availabilities and to who will emerge as a focal point or a moderator for the specific session. This is supposed to be something that this project of having several different webinars is supposed to ask also to your questions when it comes to the interaction between the democracy, technology and democracy. And therefore, I'm super happy to give more space to other people, not only to what I could say, because I mean, I've already done enough for this campaign, let's say, in terms of what are my urgencies, what I feel it's important, but I feel it's a crucial, we really need to embed other ideas, other sensitivities into our campaign, more than just mine. Therefore, feel free to reach out to Stefano. Stefano also has a Eumans email, so you can reach out to him with the stefano.corona@eumans.eu. Anyway, after the meeting, when I will share with you the recording of the plenary assembly, I will share with you also all the contact information. Going on, as I said at the beginning, one of our main challenges is how to actively engage citizens. So reach out to a lot of different people. We will also reach out to even more people through our in-person and online events. How do we ensure that attendance to these events, or even people that just happen to know about the Civic campaign, are seamlessly introduced into our workflow? Of course, we need to reflect on many things. First of all, what is the engagement funnel? The engagement funnel is a marketing concept. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but let's say it's the step-by-step process of general audiences to be converted in marketing processes, of course, into customers. But in our case, how can we convert people who hear about Eumans and specifically about the Civic campaign into operative activists in our community? Here, as I said, we already have plenty of things about social media and in-person events. We are working on restructuring the landing page to make it a more useful tool for activists and something that is something makes the whole campaign more accessible. For example, having links to YouTube recordings, to upcoming events, to some resources, some of our position papers, and so on and so forth. But then we also have to reflect how the mailing list, because people that go on social media or meet us in person, they are redirected to the landing page. Then if they decide to support our campaign, they get into our mailing lists. How do we redirect them to Discord? And once on Discord, how do we really onboard them in our activities and engage them in what we're doing, provide them with tasks, and keep them engaged in our work? As you see, we really need to reflect on what is needed on the onboarding side. So do we need to create some specific materials, for example, quick videos, tutorials, guidelines to navigate, for example, the Discord platform? Not everyone is as familiar with Discord as we became in the last few months. And in general, what do we need to share with people in order to let them understand what they are supporting and how they can help us? The other point is, of course, participation. So how do they participate in the campaign? Through what platforms? At what level are they engaged in our activities? And finally, how do we ensure that our working groups are always lively and keep on going? How do we ensure that we have even more local events, and not only events in capital cities or in places that are already quite familiar with the topics of our campaign? And finally, how do we ensure that our advocacy efforts are even stronger with more voices to be heard by institutions? One of the first points in this regard, and here I leave the floor to Gabriele, is of course the Discord platform. In the next 5 minutes, Gabriele will provide you with a short tutorial in general to the Discord platform of Eumans. So he will let you see what are the main channels, but more specifically to the session on Civic AI. Gabriele, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hello, I'm Gabriele, and I thank you for having me. I will now introduce you to the platform, Discord, which is the platform that we as Eumans team have chosen as the new, let's say, base of operations for like the headquarters, let's say, for everything that we're going to do together regarding even social communication between people, and also like formal work. So can I ask to Francesco if I can please share my screen?
Yes, already made you co-host. Now we'll just stop sharing. So I think you should be able to share
Okay,
now.
so mainly, okay, I think you can see it, right?
It's slowly coming, but yes, now we see it. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, let's go back to the main slide of before. So, because I can understand that many people here don't know what Discord is, don't have Discord, or it may be the first time that they might be hearing about it. So, Discord is a platform which was designed originally to be used for gaming. So it was mainly used as a gaming community platform. But with time, Discord has become such a multi-level platform with lots of functionalities and perks that makes it a very interesting platform to use. even on like different levels of usage, like for example, political advocacy or even cultural advocacy. There are some servers which are used, for example, to study languages or just to make interlinguistic interaction possible. So first of all, in order to get Discord, you gotta access it. So let's go together to discord.com. So I'm gonna show you step by step discord.com. So of course, here you see everything in Italian because I am in Italy, but it is the same everywhere, so don't worry about it. So on the first page, you have like these two buttons here. You can either choose to get Discord on your PC as an app, which is what I recommend. You can also get it on your phone. And I mostly recommend it if you need to have this platform on your phone. Like if you don't need, like if you're having like everything on the PC only, makes it too difficult for you, and if you need something quicker, you might find it on the cell phone, or you can choose to use it on the browser. For this instance, I will be using the PC version, but it's the same. So first of all, in order to use Discord, you gotta create an account. So first you go to log in, and then click here on sign in, which is registrati in Italian, but it's the same. So here it's pretty simple. It's like any kind of social network and that we've ever used. Let's go directly to the platform. So let me find it. Here we go. So after you like getting the app, like the app or logging in by the browser, you gotta first of all click on this link here, which I'll be giving you on the chat right next after this this tutorial, to get on the Eumans Discord server. Because first of all, when you get to this to the Discord app, you don't see anything. Mainly, you have two levels of communication, which is first servers, which are the ones you can see here, all of these colored icons. In this instance, we have Eumans. And also direct messages, which means that I can actually talk with people directly, like basically they are DMs, direct messages. So once you land on the server, first of all, you find yourself on this like room here, which is called About Us, which is mainly the presentation about Eumans. The first thing to do is to go on this channel called Start Here on the top of the server, and basically here you just say, I'm a registered human member. I'm not yet a member of Eumans. Or if you're a person working on the campaign, like in this case, you need to get the role which permits you to get to the specific part of the server dedicated to your campaign. For example, okay, let's imagine that I don't have the role. I have an admin role, so mainly I can see any kind of channel, but let's pretend I'm not. If I am a new Civic activist, which got on this server, the first thing I have to do is go to Start Here and then click on this emoji. It's basically the Space Invader emoji. By clicking it, you get the role as for Civic AI. So I got this role. This role gives you the permission to see another section of the server, which is dedicated to the campaign. To look for it, you just gotta scroll down on the server. Here you can see people already are using the general chat, voice chat for like informal discussion. So here you see the Civic AI section of the server, which is visible only to people who are part of the Civic AI campaign, or if you are Civic AI activists. If you are Civic AI activists, I recommend you to inform the campaign coordinator or me in order to get the specific role which can get you to the specific channels needed for your group, just like as it was in WhatsApp. So first of all, we get to Civic AI announcements. Here mainly, here you can see basically everything. It's used by the campaign coordinator in order to give news about the campaign, specific like plenaries, links, dates, all of those sorts. You have the general chat down here, which is used as mainly the main informal chat by the campaign activists. If you want to discuss something here, this is the right place where you want to live an idea. Here we got the resources and docs, core group, and communications, fundraising. All of these rooms used to that are used by the campaign activists. You also got here two voice channels, which can be used mainly as let's say it's like Zoom, but better in a way. Let's make an example. I won't be joining here because you can see that there's Marco Cappato and other people there. Let's try like General 2. You can see it anyway. So basically you can see that it's perfect. It just as Zoom or anything else. You see, I can actually show my face here. I can also share my screen, and I'll be going like it's not charging here, but I think you can also see, yes, I see Sergio here. And yeah, you can share your screen. This is a normal like voice channel used only for vocal or video communication. If you want on the server, there's another type of voice channel called a stage. The stage is a different type of voice channel used mainly for events. Mainly, I, as an admin, can start a stage, pick like who's going to be on the stage and who's going just to be the audience. It's pretty interesting if you want like a more coordinated approach. And for everything else, you can see there are mainly voice channels and text channels. The discussion section is multilingual. You've got 3 general chats in English, in Italian, and in French, and also an off-topic chat used for anything that's not like regarding about the campaigns, Eumans, or anything else, literally. So mainly, if you've got any issue for registration, for using the platform, for or just any need to clarify something else, you can find me on the server or on contacts that Francesco or others will leave you. And I hope I haven't left out anything else. And yeah, this should be it. This is Discord.
Thank you very much, Gabriele. Super helpful. I have to rush a bit towards the end of the meeting because we still have to speak about fundraising, and I wanted to let Sergio and Alessandro explain a bit what they're doing so far. Anyway, now we share the presentation again. I already shared the link to our Discord server in the chat. You can see the QR code there. It will redirect you to the newsletter, and through the newsletter you will receive information on how to join Discord. But anyway, we will constantly provide you with new content to get on board on our Discord server. As I said, I would like to move on. As we said, funding our activity is always hard. We tried several times to participate in European projects. A few months ago, I was involved in 2 Horizon Europe projects. Unfortunately, they didn't pass. We submitted a cost action at the end of October, and we're just waiting for the official answer in May. And we were also involved in an Erasmus Plus project called DEM Labs. I was involved with another affiliation, but let's say that the Erasmus Plus project focuses exactly on Civic AI for participatory workshops, and therefore we hope that we will get at least some funding for that. Anyway, we are still exploring new tender funding opportunities. I will leave the floor soon to Alessandro to explain a bit more about what it is a scale DEM. Sorry, it's not scale for them, but it's a scale DEM. And we are also investigating options to participate in SERV, which is one of the most renowned European funding schemes for citizen equality rights. And I never remember the V what it stands for. But anyway, there we are considering either to apply as humans, to join another SERV project led by Roda 250, and at the Congress Beyond the Horizon, that was the organization presenting the democracy app and the Innovate project. They also told us that they are considering applying for SERV projects, so we will reach out to them again and investigate if they're still considering to engage with us or not in this regard. We're also considering European Solidarity Corps. We have been involved in the Horizon Europe network for consortia by ALDA, who is an organization working on local democracy, and therefore we expect that at least one of these will work out, but as you see, we're doing our best to get some European funds. Finally, we have started investigating foundations and private funding. We tried with Bertelsmann Foundation. Stefano sent an email to them a few months ago, but we never received a reply, but we can try again. We are investigating Mozilla Foundation, given that we also participated in Mozilla Festival last year, and we are now exploring maybe private companies, especially those working on AI, other options. I mean, we still didn't decide yet exactly what direction to go, but every recommendation is very welcome. So now I give the floor to Alessandro first, and then to Sergio to explain a bit the scale for them and the SERV initiatives. And I will ask you please to be as brief as possible, because we can go a bit over time, but I would not go too long.
Thank you, Francesco, and hi, everyone. Yeah, I will be very short about the scale them grant. I mean, the deadline is soon. And I also sent a declaration of interest. And my idea regarding this grant, because they're interested in basically scaling existing solutions. So they have 4 parameters. They have scale out, scale in, scale high, scale deep. And so basically they want to expand the existing tools to new communities, like improving the quality of a tool. Also,
there are some echo, Alessandro. It's not very easy to follow you.
Okay. I'm very sorry, but it's that I'm in a sort of open space, so is it better now?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. As I was saying, they're interested in scaling actual participatory processes, and they will also to strengthen the link between citizens and institutions. The idea that I had was, they said that it matched the grant is to, as I've written here, made the activated scaling mechanism. So there are a lot of people that are influential, and they are followed by other people, and I'm referring to influencers that often they care about social and political issues, but they don't have, maybe they don't know the tools, civic tech tools. So the idea is to have some sort of, let's say, live streaming, interviews, and so on, with those people that could be influencers or also politicians that are following, and explain them how they can use the tools, and also use the tools with their followers. This is the main idea. And yes, if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you also for sharing the contact. I just wanted to point out that this proposal is also supported by the Visualizing Civic AI working group. So it's not just Alessandro. There are other researchers that are helping us with that. And Alessandro didn't mention it, but he already reached out to both Sylvain Le Bon, that was already mentioned during the meeting today, to develop data spaces, and to other organizations such as MetaGov to explore, potential synergies with them on this fund. So even though we don't have a concrete we have not written down the proposal yet, this conversation has been running for 1.5 months. So the moment we opt for a specific idea and we find the other partner, I think we can go quite fast in submitting the proposal.
Yes. If I can, just another thing, because this scale them grant, also in the declaration of interest, I was writing like a software I started developing, and also that was in some way tested by the other people of the Civic group. That is a sort of modular software that I think it can be used as a concept for this scaling, for this media-activated scaling mechanism. And also it is very related to interoperability and data spaces. So it really put everything together.
Great, amazing. Thank you very much. Now, Sergio, the floor is yours to speak a bit more about the SERVE project. As I said already, we're considering not only running one of by ourselves, but participate in others. Probably the second option would be easier, but I would like you to explain a bit more about what it is about.
Yeah, so there is a call that with deadline end of April, and it's focused on 4 different priority vectors on women equality. The one that probably most fit Eumans' objective is support women equal participation in politics. However, it's combined with business. So I already drafted a potential application. The reality is that we need to decide what exactly we want to put in it and with whom we want to do it. One thing is for sure, if you want to fulfill the core requirement, you must have at least one governmental organization and one business organization part of the consortium. The initiative can be national only, so it doesn't need to be international. So it's not a requirement of the call. I would say this is probably more a requirement of Eumans to make it international. And my only question is, can we recover any of the work done before and put together a decent consortium? The type of funding that we can request is between 100 and 500,000. And as Francesco said, one opportunity would be to lead an application or to piggyback on somebody else. That's it for the SERVE.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you also for providing your email. Anyone who would be interested to jump on this project is more than welcome to just drop an email to Sergio and they can start working together. In fact, we also have a WhatsApp working group on fundraising. You see the QR code, so please feel free to join the group and to say that you're interested in supporting one of these different projects so that Sergio can share with you some more information about what was done so far. Anyway, when it comes to creating a consortium, yes, we have plenty of potential partners. Thanks also to some other of my affiliations, I have been exposed to a huge network of organizations working in digital rights and digital innovation, and specifically in digital democracy. The point is always, do we have the capability to lead an entire project? This is a serious question that we have to ask ourselves. Anyway, tomorrow morning I will speak with Road to 50 to explore, again, the potential synergies on a specific SERVE goal focused on priority on women equality. As you know, we already mentioned it, current algorithm and other and even deep fakes are affecting way more women than they are affecting men, and therefore there is plenty of room to discussion on data to introduce discussions about data feminism and gender inclusion into our advocacy for digital participation. Anyway, I think that we definitely need to focus on these projects now that we set up the first webinar. I will be, of course, involved in the first place to try and help with the realization of these projects, but any other support is definitely appreciated. Namely, we would have had time to discuss, but we already had the chance to discuss a bit earlier, and there will be other moments to discuss further what to do and how to get engaged in different working groups. I just redirect you to, first and foremost, the Civic engagement form is the first QR code you see on the right. I also shared the link in the chat. Just fill in the engagement form. You can state what you would like to do into the campaign, what working groups you would like to join, and then we will ensure that someone reaches out to you to involve you in our activities. And finally, here again, there is a QR code to join the Eumans Discord if you didn't see the other QR code and the link that I already shared in the chat. Once you're on Discord, you can monitor all our activities, and from now on, most of our interactions will be held directly there. That said, thank you again for staying with us for so long. I hope that the overall meeting was interesting to you. I hope that you now have a better idea of what we're doing and how you can help. And I just hope this is the very first step of a very long journey together. Super happy to meet you all in the next few months and to do something with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.